All right, we're gonna jump right back in here where we left off in that last video. It was getting kind of a longer video there, and everything there. So I felt like I kind of left it a little bit in suspense there, but I didn't want like a 3 hour video, to be one of my first ones there to get into everything with the all the major categories and a rundown of the festivals and all that. So, just to kind of leave off where I pick up where we left off here. Let me just name off the 10 films I have up to 10 for Best Picture right now. But again, I believe right now it's looking more like a solid 8, 9, maybe even 7 range right now. So once again, my front runner right now is One Night in Miami, then Mank, The Trial of the Chicago 7, Nomadland, Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, Five Bloods, Hillbilly Elegy, News of the World, and The Father was the last one we left off on. Real quick, just a couple corrections from yesterday's video there. The Trial of Chicago 7, I think these are just general screenings. It's not part of the New York Film Festival. I think really the only major players there that are screening are Nomadland. There was another one I just thought of here. On the Rocks, the Sofia Coppola one, which we'll talk. I think we'll talk more about that one. I think it's a bigger player for screenplay than anything else, but obviously there's more potential for that one too. It's not just going to be in screenplay, I don't think. And I have not seen anything else yet on the French Dispatch, like officially being out for this year. Really, it was just that one report. Nobody else, from what I've seen today, has picked up on it. It's still available to predict on Gold Derby, and I think it was still on. Last I checked, it was on the IndieWire site as well, in the list of possible nominees, or I forget if they put it in the predictions or not. But yeah, so that's where I kind of left off. So I was like, okay, so I had to drop that. I had that at number 10. So my 10th film now, and I'm just kind of going off of the fact that he was a nominee last year, and his next film maybe gets some more love, and that's Next Goal Wins, the next film from Taika Waititi. And he got a good, cast in this one as well, with Michael Fassbender, Elizabeth Moss, Armie Hammer, kind of being the bigger names there, and then a few kind of unknown or first-time actors here. And it's kind of like a, it would be an America soccer movie, but it'll be, otherwise known as European football kind of movie there. And it's all about kind of like taking a team that is one of the worst and turning them into one of the best, kind of one of those tried and true stories. And, I think the Academy, obviously they gave an Oscar last year to Taika, so they like him, or at least they've grown to like him over the years here, with JoJo kind of being his big kind of coming out party, if you will, at the Oscars. And it is going to be another what would be formerly known as Fox Searchlight, but just Searchlight Pictures now. And it seems, we can guess it's not going to be a straight-up drama. We can guess there's going to be some comedy in there. So we could see somebody like Michael Fassbender be a competitor in lead actor comedy musical for sure. I just have it right now in that 10th slot because I just don't know what else to go with. Probably one of the more popular picks I'm seeing right now, we talked a little bit about Soul. That one could be, like we said last time, one of the first, really the first since Toy Story 3 to get some Best Picture recommendations there. Inside Out, I think, was close that year, but it just, with the screenplay nomination too, but didn't quite pan out there. I don't want to go with Dune, and not really because I don't believe it can, but I just don't really know at this point. Like we've mentioned, a lot of the big movies are pushing back right now. Black Widow just got pushed back. If everything is true here, French Dispatch got pushed back. And then West Side Story just got pushed back. And that one I had in for several categories as well. Just in, big theatrical blockbusters, Wonder Woman got pushed back to Christmas. And like we said last time, that I can see getting pushed back even further into next year even. So Dune almost feels like if any of these up to 10, if I were to put it in there, is going to be one of those, it feels like Dune is the next one, because Warner Brothers just bit a huge, at least domestically, financial bullet with Tenet, and it's doing very well overseas. Almost all of its 300 million gross, or close to that range, has been from overseas markets. It's only grossed like 40 million here in the States. Which again, in a normal circumstance, that would be a disastrous, completely like, oh, you're not going anywhere as far as any Oscar traction kind of performance there. But it's not normal times. So Dune, it almost feels like it is in that maybe not quite as expensive as Tenet, but it's got to be in that range of 200 million or so. Huge cast. You can almost, if it's not going to be a December release, it could almost feel like a July or a June release as well. So that one, I just feel like if I put it in, like the next day, it's going to get pushed back. So that one, I think it's in that range of up to like 20 that can get nominated, but I don't think it's like one of the first ones I would go to. Ammonite, I kind of put in that branch too, not for the release date thing, but for, the reviews were good, like 78%, which, you can get nominated for Best Picture. We've seen films with lower Rotten Tomatoes scores get in, but I'm not quite certain about that. Respect was one I had in, the Aretha Franklin, I couldn't think of her name yesterday, the biopic with Jennifer Hudson. And I have her out front to win Best Actress right now. But it seems like, just on the surface, again, it's another kind of... This one I can understand. I think it's... I don't know if it's Fox or formerly Fox. I don't think it's them. I can't remember who's releasing this one off the top of my head. We'll get into it later. But that seems like it's supposed to come out Christmas Day. That feels like that might be one that gets pushed too. But I don't know. With her probably being a front runner to at least be nominated for Best Actress, I can see them keeping it and taking a little bit of a financial hit if the theaters aren't fully open by then. Judas and the Black Messiah is I know that's a Warner Brothers one. I saw the trailer for it in front of Tenet. And that's one, I want to know more about that one before I start putting it in. It looks like it's kind of one of those, kind of angry, racial films, kind of like BlacKkKlansman a little bit. It kind of has a little bit of that flavor to it. So maybe, but I want to hear a little bit more, see the trailer a couple more times or a new trailer for it. And again, make sure it's going to be released in time period to qualify here. On the Rocks, we mentioned, again, I think that's going to be a bigger player for like screenplay. Maybe Bill Murray for supporting actor. It seems like he's running in supporting right now. Possibly. Let's see here. Yeah, the only other one, and this one, sorry, there is one more I was thinking of at New York Film Festival. It'll play here actually in the coming weeks, is French Exit. Who's directing this one? I'm going to look this one up. It's Michelle Pfeiffer, a cat, and Lucas Hedges. Aziel Jacobs, or Azaziel. No, I don't know that director at all, but... Yeah, who else? Tracy Letts voices the cat. That's right. Yeah, so this one seems like it would also be in that kind of comedy musical race at the Globes as well. And this one is coming from Sony Pictures Classics, and it is releasing in February, which would be qualifying for the Oscars this year. So that one, I can, we'll see how it does at New York. I mean, if it really makes a big splash there, then I think that one could maybe come back and be a bigger player than we're thinking. Yeah, I think we'll cap it there for Best Picture right now. I mean, obviously a lot's going to change in the coming months if we even have an Oscars this year, traditionally speaking. So, okay, for the director race, I do have David Fincher out front right now for that IOU factor. I mean, he feels like he is one of the best, or if not the best director working right now in Hollywood that doesn't have an Oscar to his name. And then I also have Chloe Zhao in a close second place for that Nomadland. And again, this one, until we see the film, I can definitely see a narrative brewing where it's like, okay, let's get another female director an Oscar win. And it's like, I feel like if they, with her, if they really want to just award her, they can do it in screenplay, but they could do it here too. And I'm going to look it up real quick to see if she's a producer on Nomadland as well. I know she, like you said last time, wrote the script based on the book. And yes, and actually Frances is a producer as well. So as long as she makes the cut, I think I'm counting 5 producers on this, which sometimes when it gets to that level, they put like nominees to be determined, and sometimes they have to knock it down a few, but or there's a rule that caps it at like 4 or 5. So I'm presuming all of them get in for that. And I think it's almost all female producers, too, from what I'm seeing here. I see a Peter and I see a Dan. So I'm going to guess there's a couple male producers on that. But anyways, so there's actually Frances is also kind of one of the front runners now for Best Actress as well. There is a way that she and Chloe, if this film just completely dominates and it wins picture, director, actress, screenplay, I mean, that's like, okay, that's 3 Oscars for Chloe and 2 for Frances. That would be huge. But I don't know. That almost, I mean, I'm sure we've seen Iñárritu win 3 Oscars, the year of Birdman and stuff. in that kind of capacity there. It didn't win any acting wins, but acting categories, I should say. But still, it's like 4 feels like that's a lot for that movie. But it might be that good. It might be one that just runs the table. And in a weird year, we could be due for something like that. And especially, as we've mentioned several times here, or I have at least, and I'm still a firm believer in this, the day of the huge, 9, 10, 11 Oscar win sweeps are over, especially with preferential ballot, because I think people just kind of look at that now and it's a different way. It's like, okay, I like this for these categories, but for Best Picture, I feel like I've already awarded that one a lot. Let me mark down something else I like. Which again, I think really hurt 1917, really hurt, big time hurt La La Land. And of course there was some backlash to the La La Land year as well. So, in a way that might have hurt The Revenant too, if that was one that was getting a few. But again, that disappointed at the end as well, off of the most nominations. So, yeah, I don't know. I just don't, Nomadland wouldn't quite fit that track record, because I think it's going to have those 4 categories for sure, I think, in the nominations. Supporting actor is looking pretty likely with David Strathairn, but we'll see. There's a lot more that can happen in that category. That one feels like it's really dicey. Like, really, there's a lot of possibilities there. Especially between Trial of the Chicago 7 and One Night in Miami. It's possible. I wouldn't bet on it right now, but it's possible both those films get a double nomination for supporting actor, if that makes sense. That means 4 of the nominees are coming from those 2 films. 2 films get 2 nominations, 2 slots each. Obviously that's that'd be tricky. It's very rare to see even a film get 3 nominations, one single film. But I can't remember if we've ever seen a film, or 2 films technically, get 2 slots each. That would be almost unheard of. Again, nothing is coming to my memory if that's ever happened. But it feels like the depth is there in those 2 films with those performances. So yeah, we'll have to see there. But I don't know. I'm just maybe getting ahead of myself there for the acting races, but. I have those 2 in for Best Director as well, with Regina King and with Aaron Sorkin in that respective order there. And then I do have Spike Lee in that 5th slot for Da 5 Bloods. He's one, I think in a normal Oscar year where it's 5 nominees, he could be one that gets in for Director, and then The 5 Bloods would miss Best Picture with something like Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, or Hillbilly Elegy being the 5th nominee. But that being said, I do think one of the next ones to look out for is somebody like a Ron Howard, who, he's been nominated a few times. He obviously had a big IOU for Apollo 13, but then made up for that with the win for Beautiful Mind, and was nominated for Frost Nixon, in the years past. I think that was the last time he was nominated in the directing category, so he could be due for another nomination. Denis Villeneux is another one I can see. He at BAFTA a couple years ago for the Blade Runner sequel, he was in for director. The film didn't get Best Picture, or Best Film over there, and it really only played otherwise in the tech categories, no screenplay or acting nominations. So again, in a traditional year, I would bet on that one a little more, but again, I just don't have it in for picture right now, and I don't see that one going all the way. Paul Greengrass didn't get in for Captain Phillips, but I think News of the World, he has a shot at getting that one. I think with, not to say it's covered, but with Regina King and Chloe Zhao both being, female directors in there. Sofia Coppola is a player for On the Rocks, but again, I feel like that one, it would need to get that acting nomination on top of screenplay and be a bigger player for picture. I don't quite see that one as like this year's Foxcatcher, where it gets director, it gets an acting nomination, or in that case I got 2, and screenplay, and maybe a tech category, and then it misses for picture. I don't quite see that happening. And then one we could be sleeping on, if it really plays, Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, which I do have for getting almost all the major categories otherwise, and it could play in some tech categories too, is its director George C. Wolfe, who I don't think I've seen any of his films, but that could be one that breaks in. We mentioned Taika possibly for Next Goal Wins, but I would have loved to have seen him nominated last year for JoJo, but because he didn't get in, I don't think that's enough, IOU factor to get him in this time. Yeah, I think that's kind of where I'm at right now for director. I don't really see too many other possibles out there. Okay, for the acting category, I do have Anthony Hopkins out front here for The Father. Again, this could be one, Anthony Hopkins is at that level of an actor where he can go to his grave with 2 Oscar wins. You could obviously say that too about Gary Oldman for Mank. I have him in a strong second place. Then I do have Delroy Lindo, who I guess is the lead actor in Da 5 Bloods. Again, I need to see that one, and I'm planning on seeing it very soon. Sacha Baron Cohen I do have in there for Trial of the Chicago 7. Even with the caveat, though, I think that one could be like Spotlight, where they put everybody in supporting. Because it really does look like an ensemble film. From that last trailer, I think Cohen got quite a bit of screen time there, which suggests maybe he does have maybe a little bit more screen time than some of his co-stars, but I don't, and it looks like there is enough in there from a few of those supporting actors, which we'll get to in a few minutes here, that it could be really stuffed if they just try to put them all in supporting actor and hope they all get in. I just don't quite think it's going to play that way. And then I have Kingsley Ben Adir, who got some good notes for One Night in Miami, and he plays... I'm going to look up because I don't know who he plays. Real quick, which one is he? He plays Malcolm X, which I would guess, yeah, that would be probably one of the leading role. I mean, if there is one. And again, that one, without having seen it, and I believe no trailers for it yet, that one, since it is such a kind of close set ensemble movie, kind of in the vein of Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf, or even one I just saw recently was Guess Who's Coming to Dinner, which has a pretty select setting. I mean, they go outside of it once or twice, but otherwise it's almost always those characters in that setting, which I love watching that movie again. Anyways, but and there's a lot of other examples out there too. But yeah, he seems like he's getting good notes for it. Again, I'm not willing to bet on Tom Hanks in this category. I mean, he has missed so many times over the last 20 years. Again, with the exception of Mr. Rogers for A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood, but I just don't. I mean, I don't know. I just don't want to bet on it yet. Not until we see more of the film. If it's again, this is one from Universal. I think Universal will keep it there in that December release date, or maybe if anything, push it back to January or something to keep it in this year. I don't see this one as one they're going to push back. Let's see. Daniel Kaluuya is, I guess, running in lead for Judas and the Black Messiah. So again, we'll see more of that one. We mentioned Michael Fassbender for Next Goal Wins, maybe. And again, that the big question mark from Netflix, too, is are they going to run Chadwick Boseman's posthumous performance from Ma Rainey's Black Bottom in lead or supporting? Because I do think in lead, he is going to run into a huge buzzsaw between him, Gary Oldman, Anthony Hopkins for the win there, and possibly, the other all the other candidates. So I think that might be not to say having not seen the film and not knowing how much screen time it is and stuff, that might be a mistake to campaign him in lead. But again, I don't know the role. I don't know how much screen time it's going to be. So if it's only fair to put him in lead, then I think they'll just take the lead nomination for him posthumously there. And remember, frankly, when we think of posthumous, Oscar wins, it's always like, or posthumous Oscar nominations, I should say, it almost always results in a win, or at least it feels like that, going back to Peter Finch and Network, or obviously Heath Ledger in The Dark Knight. But remember, what's his name from, what's the Italian one from the 90s? The actor passed away, and he still got in for actor. Il Postino, yeah, Il Postino got in, but that one he didn't win. He was going up against Nicolas Cage and Leaving Las Vegas. Pretty strong performance. So, and yeah, we could see again some very strong performances already. Anthony Hopkins seems like one that can't miss, and unless it totally falls apart or doesn't release this year, Mank for Gary Oldman almost feels like it'll be in that class. Let's see. Ooh, I forgot about this Stillwater, which is the Tom McCarthy new film. Let's see. I need to look up that one if they have any information on it here. But yeah, Matt Damon's in that. I don't know. We'll see. And then one just got added recently is the new Russo brothers film Cherry, which I believe is going to play for the Oscars this year. I think it was Apple picked it up. It seems from the little photos and stuff they released, it seems like Tom Holland is really like going for like a Taxi Driver kind of De Niro performance. We'll see. I mean, that's one I can maybe, going back to picture really quick, that's one I can maybe see. Otherwise, it's always, it's never a strong bet to say that somebody like a Denzel Washington, when they have a good performance, is not going to be in the conversation. So he has The Tragedy of Macbeth, which is set for release as well. So you can almost always throw in Denzel into the conversation here. Okay, for lead actress, we kind of mentioned here Jennifer Hudson. I have in the frontrunner position right now for Respect, playing Aretha Franklin, and obviously she won an Oscar for a kind of similar performance in Dreamgirls. And I mean, sorry, I'll go back to it. I had her winning last year for Cats early on, very early, kind of gutsy prediction, but I don't know. It's like even then in that movie, she was actually. I mean, I thought she was actually decent, but it might be more the role than the performance for that one, but it's still like, I don't know. I thought she was some of the more redeeming parts of it, surprisingly. Anyways, but yeah, so I have her up front. Then I do have Amy Adams in second place for Hillbilly Elegy, but that's only because the next three I have getting in, Viola Davis, Frances McDormand, and Kate Winslet have all won already. Even though Jennifer Hudson has won already, I don't know, I get a feeling with that one, so... but Amy, I can see, kind of riding that, especially if Hillbilly Elegy does play pretty well here and all that. So I mentioned Viola Davis in third for Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. Frances McDormand I have clear down in fourth, but again, with room to push her up. And Kate Winslet in fifth for Ammonite. And I think after that, you look to some of the ones that we've already mentioned, like Vanessa Kirby for Pieces of a Woman, or Michelle Pfeiffer maybe for French Exit, Rashida Jones for On the Rocks. I think there's a couple more here. I guess Sophia Loren has a performance for the Life Ahead. I don't know that one, but possibly. Otherwise... Yeah, I guess Frances McDormand is running possibly in lead for The Tragedy of Macbeth. She's in that one too, but I don't think she knocks herself out with that performance. Okay, supporting actor, which again feels like a very fluid category with a couple of exceptions here. I think I do have Chadwick out front right now for this one, again, just on the presumption that it is supporting where he ends up. Then I have Leslie Odom Jr. for One Night in Miami. I was going to look up who he played as well, because he's Sam Cooke, and I guess he got some good reviews as well, with Aldous Hodge also being one who got some good notes there. I guess he would also be supporting for that. And then we have, in third place for me, I do have one who I could see slipping out, I mean, until we see actual footage of the film and stuff, and that's Charles Dance for Mank. He is playing, as we mentioned, William Randolph Hearst, the inspiration for Charles Foster Kane in Citizen Kane. And frankly, part of my reason for going with it, number one, it's the role. Number two, like I said last time, we mentioned Vanessa Morgan being involved with Game of Thrones and stuff. I gotta tell you, I mean, his role in Game of Thrones, awesome. Every time Charles Dance was on screen, I lit up, because him and, oh god, I'm completely blanking on the character names here, but it's him and, oh shit, oh, I'm embarrassed right now. I'm fresh off the series, and I've forgotten everybody's fucking names. Well, I mean, you can't blame me. There's like 130 people in the main cast of that show. All, if you include everybody through all the seasons. Oh God. Okay, I gotta look it up. I gotta look up their names here. I'm sorry. Again, it's a big show. It goes on forever, but it's like, I just gotta remember who's who here. Okay, so I'm gonna see it here, and I'm gonna be like, oh my God, you fucking idiot! How did you not? Tywin Lannister is Charles Dance, and again, I mean, seriously, I've seen like all the YouTube clips of like all his scenes compiled together, and so I've seen those a few times. Oh, I mean, so good. And then I have to say, my favorite character from Game of Thrones, bar none, was Bronn. Bronn is just like the most down to earth, just completely, truthful character. And that was so refreshing. Man, I hope that actor has a long career after this. But yeah, Charles Dance was, part of me is just sympathetic here, but it's like, he was never recognized other than like ensemble prizes and stuff for Game of Thrones for his work there, and he was so damn good in that show. I don't know. I feel, and he's obviously never gotten a huge like Oscar-friendly role. I think the closest I can argue is Imitation Game, and even then he was only in it for like 3 scenes, and he was kind of the mean bad guy, you know, kind of bully sergeant or admiral character or whatever. But yeah. Let's see here. Then, yeah, I do have David Strathairn, as we mentioned, in 4th place. And in 5th place, I have Jeremy Strong, who looks like he has a lot of, like, you know, like wig and beard and stuff in the movie. I mean, seriously, if he was in that first trailer, I couldn't spot him. But the second one, I'm like, oh, there he is. Yeah. I guess coming off the Emmy win, actually just a week ago now, I can see him kind of being like a Bryan Cranston, you know, going from a huge TV personality to at the Oscars there, like Trumbo. But and even then, Succession, it's only in its 2nd season right now, whereas Breaking Bad, that was, I think, it was after all 5 seasons of Breaking Bad before Cranston got in for Trumbo. But then again, he took a few film roles here and there in between, but he was really focused on the show, and he was obviously producing it too. Which, as far as I know, Jeremy Strong is not a producer on Succession or anything, and, you know, like we said, that one's only 2 seasons in. But I did like him a lot in like The Big Short. Like, he stands out in that one again, especially on rewatches after you've seen the film a few times and after we know some of the actors there. We didn't know them at all in 2015 when the film came out, but now we know who they are. Let's see. So that's the tricky part. I only have one for One Night in Miami and one for Trial of Chicago 7, but I can see a few others from Trial of Chicago 7 getting in. At one point, I did have Jeremy Strong here, and then I dropped him for Mark Rylance, who looks like he has, again, you know, a little bit of touch-up going on with makeup or hairstyling and all that. And I guess his role as I can't remember. I guess he'd be prosecution. I've just kind of looked up the case a little bit, some of the facts of it and stuff, just to kind of, because I'd always heard of it, but I was like, I don't exactly know what it is. So I'm like, okay, let me educate myself before the film comes out. Because obviously, you know, the film could really, really play strongly because of so many countless, you know, protests going on, even probably right now across this country. So I was like, okay, let me just look it up a little bit. And it's like, yeah, his character has some outbursts in the courtroom. Frank Langella plays the judge. I haven't seen way too many notices for him yet, but he's one, I mean, in that kind of role, I can see that one getting in. Yahya Abdul-Mateen II, who has had roles in like Aquaman and Baywatch and stuff. I remember that's where I learned his name was from Baywatch. I guess he's top billing and all the stuff here, but it looks like he would be running supporting here. It looks like he's got some good scenes in the trailer. And then also one I wanted to note there was I can't find him now. Oh shit. No, not Joseph Gordon-Levitt, but and I considered putting him in there for a minute too for supporting, but I guess I'm not seeing him here. Maybe they did bump him up to lead. That'd be Eddie Redmayne. Looks like he's got some good scenes in there too, some good like shouting scenes and stuff. So we mentioned Bill Murray for On the Rocks. Basically, from what I've heard from those who know about the film, it's basically and have already reviewed it. I think it was at Sundance or something, but or Cannes or something, but basically, they said it's very much in the vein of his performance in Lost in Translation, where it's a good kind of summation of his career in a single character. But I don't know. I heard a lot of that for St. Vincent. Sorry, not Loving Vincent. St. Vincent, the film he did with Naomi Watts and Melissa McCarthy. But he got the Globe nomination off of that, but that was about it. The film did better at SAG, but he didn't get nominated for that. Let's see, Lucas Hedges for French Exit. Let's see here. Maybe some love for Eli Gorey is the last one, or Gorey for One Night in Miami. He plays the boxer. I spaced on his name right now. But Cassius Clay, right? Cassius Clay, yeah. With Aldous Hodge being Jim Brown. So with Cassius kind of being like the character they're all rooting around and stuff, I'm sure he would have some good scenes in there. So... and the last one, again, maybe would be Lance Henriksen for Falling, but again, that one almost seems like it would be kind of getting in the same trouble that a film like Beautiful Boy did a few years ago, where, and that one, obviously, Timothée was getting in everywhere that year for the supporting performance, but because it was the only expected nomination, a lot of Oscar voters probably skipped it and went on to other stuff, and that's how both Sams got in that year, Sam Rockwell and Sam Elliott. So that could be a problem for Lance there in that category. Okay, then we have supporting actress, and again, just off of sympathy for not winning a couple years ago, I have Glenn Close out front for Hillbilly Elegy. I think she's picked up a couple roles since then, so we know she's going to be acting in the future, of course, but this could be another one where it's like, it almost could be like a last chance kind of thing, and this would be her 8th nomination, so she does lose this one. This would put her past, if she gets nominated, this would put her past Geraldine Page for most losses. So yeah, and maybe maybe Adams passes her later, but yeah, that would be a huge, big, significant thing there if she were not to win for this one. Saoirse Ronan, I have in second place for Ammonite. Third place, Olivia Colman for The Father. Again, that one I can see maybe being a lead performance as well, just based off of stuff. But again, I think that's a safer bet to put her in supporting. I do have Amanda Seyfried in there for Mank for 4th place. I mean, I've really never seen her in anything where she gives like an Oscar-worthy performance. I think she can be a good actress at times, but I don't know, maybe working with Fincher. I mean, Justin Timberlake we all thought was going to bomb out in Social Network, but he arguably could have been a nominee that year or in the runnings for it. So yeah, I mean, obviously Fincher, and then even Neil Patrick Harris was pretty passable in Gone Girl. And he, what's his name? Tyler Perry gave one of his best performances in a supporting role for that. So that's a lot of ammunition in her chamber. That's part of the reason why I am going with her over somebody like an Ellen Burstyn or who else here? Toni Collette's picking up some good buzz for I'm Thinking of Ending Things, which I think is out now. I haven't seen that one either myself, but yeah, or even somebody like an Elizabeth Moss for Next Goal Wins, which I guess would be kind of an Oscar-friendly role, I think, from what I've just a couple of things I've looked up. And then, but I don't have them in. In 5th place, I do have Mary J. Blige, who would get her 2nd nomination in Respect. So, yeah, those 5 are the 5 I'm going with now. We mentioned, a couple of them that could get in, like Ellen Burstyn and Toni Collette. Maybe Elizabeth Moss or maybe Lily Collins gets in instead for Mank. I can see that being a case, kind of a switcheroo from what we originally think, kind of like Spotlight, like Mark Ruffalo getting in over somebody like Michael Keaton, who was kind of running the board early. Let's see, Helena Zengel was one we mentioned for News of the World, who plays the kidnap victim in News of the World. Possibly, again, we'd have to see a trailer and hear a couple things first, because child actors are such a gamble in acting categories here. I mean, they will come in every once in a while. We mentioned, a few there, like Haley Steinfeld for True Grit, Quvenzhané Wallis for Beasts of No Nation, or no, I always get that wrong. Beasts of the Southern Wild. I always confuse those. Well, I don't confuse them. I just say the wrong title. But when I want to say one, I say the other. Yeah, if that makes sense. And then we've seen actors like Jacob Tremblay, or last year the young actors in Jojo Rabbit couldn't get in. There's a couple other examples, of course, through history there. But yeah, it's just it sometimes is a struggle to get those younger actors in. But yeah, then you look at like Anna Paquin winning for kind of in a minor upset win for The Piano. So that's another one. Let's see. Otherwise, I'm seeing a few notices for Zendaya for Dune, and I think that really bumped up after her win at the Emmys there. Again, from what I understand, a big upset win there. And I remember that was trending on Twitter because people were like, what do you mean upset win? Is that because she's black? It's like, oh, fuck you. It's a fucking phrase, you fucking numbnuts. God, anyways. No. So, yeah, I don't worry about that at all. But, yeah, otherwise I don't really... I don't know. Nothing else is really coming out to me, kind of sticking out to me here, like something to name off. So, yeah, again, I think there's room to flex really in all 4 of these acting categories. It is super early. Okay, going quickly to the screenplay categories as well. Adapted screenplay, I have my best picture frontrunner out right now. That's One Night in Miami. Then Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, Hillbilly Elegy, Nomadland, and The Father. Also running in the adapted category this year is News of the World, Next Goal Wins, Dune, I'm Thinking of Ending Things. French Exit is also in the adapted category. What else? Yeah, this one I keep seeing a few people going in there. It's Lee Daniels' new film, The United States versus Billie Holiday. I need to look that one up too, see who's behind. Well, I mean, obviously Lee Daniels is directing it, but Billie Holiday. Is that another Netflix? Oh, this one is Paramount. I don't think Paramount has a lot on the roster this year. Coming out in February, so it'd make the mark there. Stars Andra Day as Billie Holiday. Who is she? A singer. Okay. I don't know if she's done any acting. Oh, she did a voice part in Cars 3 before this. Okay, so this would be kind of a newer performance, which, yeah, sometimes works. I mean, Cynthia Erivo had a couple roles, and then she got nominated for Harriet last year. Let's see, otherwise, Trevante Rhodes, Garrett Hedlund is in this. Natasha Lyonne, her name sounds really familiar. Where would I know her from? Davine Joy Randolph, a standout last year in Dolomite is My Name. I really liked her in that role. So yeah, maybe she's a bid this year. I don't know. I guess that would be supporting for her. Yeah, I guess it's biographical. Yep. Okay. War on Drugs. Okay. Yeah, I need to look up more of what this story would be, but yeah, and this is his first film. I know he's done a lot of TV stuff since The Butler, but yeah, with the one show that's not on, and then Empire, which I think is just ending, or just ended, whatever. Yeah, he's been pretty focused on that. So this is his first film in 8 years. So I don't know. That could be, kind of like we saw Steve McQueen kind of drop out after 12 Years a Slave, and now he's back with like 3 films. I don't know how that's going to work. It's almost like that disappearance of Eleanor Rigby, which I know early on that year, some people were thinking, oh, it could get a lot of nominations because it's kind of if you put the whole film together, it's kind of a big perspective kind of thing, but it went nowhere. I think everybody was really confused. And with 3 this time, that could kind of push the limits as well. All right. Dune, I think, is in the adapted as well, if we didn't mention that one already, but maybe, I don't know. Just from that trailer and stuff, I mean, it looks gorgeous as far as like the cinematography, visual effects, the sound category, production design, costume design, all that. I think it's not going to have a problem with that. Beyond that, I don't know. It's like, number one, I'm not a huge enthusiast. I haven't read any of the books or anything. I haven't even seen the original film, which everybody, including Roger Ebert at the time, said was the worst film of the year. It was kind of a big flop for it was Lynch or Cronenberg. Lynch did that one, I think. And it was kind of like coming off of, Eraserhead and all that. It's like maybe this guy only is good in this kind of avant-garde kind of stuff. And then he, obviously went on to do Blue Velvet after that and kind of regain a lot of that. But still, I think that's one I might have to try to check out the original before that one comes out. But I don't know. It's like this new trailer. It's like it was like 3 minutes, and it's like, I don't know. I mean, I just generally don't know the big story of it, and the trailer didn't really allude to any of the story of it at all. I don't know. So, I don't know. A lot of Warner Brothers movies kind of seem that way this year. Like, Tenet is another one. We got into that last time, so no use going back. But anyways. Then going to original screenplay, the ones that we've so far set up for original. As far as we know, no source adapting here. I have Trial of Chicago 7 out front for Aaron Sorkin, who, obviously up till Social Network had only really, had only been passed up for a lot of his stuff, like A Few Good Men and Charlie Wilson's War and a few others, to name a few. Mank I have in second place, To Five Bloods in third, Soul in fourth, and On the Rocks in fifth. And yeah, it almost feels like almost a lot of the other Best Picture potential nominees are running in that adapted screenplay. So original, we're going to have definitely some chances here to get some other films in there that aren't necessarily high up on the list right now, for me at least, for Best Picture. Let's see, one film that did have a very decent limited run back when theaters were open was Never, Rarely, Sometimes, Always, which I think was about ready to start opening my local area when everything hit all the shit hit the fan, so we'll have to see. That one I'll try to maybe catch up on as well. Judas and the Black Messiah is running in original right now. Ammonite, again, originally had in here for screenplay as well as picture, but I think after the reviews and stuff, I'm really going to stick with that one for probably costumes and the 2 acting categories, and that's probably about it. Respect is also running in the original category right now, but I don't know it that well. It seems like one that is kind of from the surface at least, kind of a standard biopic kind of, thing. So like Bohemian Rhapsody couldn't get in and stuff like that. Let's see, then we have Minari, which I think is a foreign language film. Are we looking at our next or no, it is American. Is it American produced? It says American produced, but it looks like it's all either Asian-based actors here. Like, none of these names are familiar. Will Patton, that sounds like a familiar name. Where would I know him from? Oh, from Armageddon. Okay, I don't remember him in that one. But this was at Sundance, and it looks like it's 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. And it won grand jury there, and as well as the audience awards. So I've heard a couple people talk on this one. A24 picked it up. Now, obviously, they've had an Oscar win in the past with Moonlight, kind of a big kind of thing like that. And a couple of the producers are on there, Dee Dee Gardner and Jeremy Kleiner. So maybe that is one to watch out for maybe landing Best Picture. And, well, here's the only thing, though, for like a foreign language is it looks like it is set in Arkansas about, like, Korean family that, I don't know if they immigrated or if they, like, generations ago, or if they just immigrate to Arkansas. But it looks like it has a lot to do with baseball, too, from the poster here, at least. Which, obviously, you watch South Korea, they win almost every year, it seems, for Little League World Series, which I love to watch that every year. I don't know. So I don't know. That sounds like one I would probably like to see. Sounds like it's a good film there. But it's both in English and Korean for spoken languages in it. So again, I mean, they have pretty set rules for that. So maybe it can't run in that foreign language film category, or international film in this case. And even then, I think if it's produced in the U.S., it might not even be in the running to begin with. But yeah, I don't know. So that's one, I guess. I've seen a couple people predicting that one, or at least saying it could be like another, Parasite, kind of thing, where we see a film not really, from the U.S. This one, from what it seems like it is. At least it looks like it was shot like in Arkansas, so I guess it's produced. I don't know how that's going to run. I mean, I'm going to have to learn some more about that one first before we know all the figures on that. But yeah. Okay, I think that will about do it for right now. Like I said, I got to catch up with the Five Bloods. Everything else, I think we'll see how it gets released. I mean, obviously, a lot of these are Netflix. But, what we named off 5, Mank, Trial of Chicago 7, Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, The Five Bloods, Hillbilly Elegy, already being those. So, Yep, it's going to be an interesting year. I mean, definitely. I mean, it's already everything that could, happen in a big year like this, that's, an election year and all that, it's happened. I mean, really about the only thing, and it's funny, I was kind of thinking it, I'm like, are we going to have an asteroid hit next or what? And it's like, there actually is an asteroid that's going to cross very close to Earth in the coming weeks. Shit. So, yeah, we might not be around in a few weeks. Who knows? But, it feels like a lot can happen here. Again, I think a lot of these races do feel pretty fluid, especially some of the acting races. Picture, I don't know. I kind of feel like I was struggling to get to 10 right now. But again, like we said, there's a lot happens over the course of the next coming months, and especially since we have a kind of delayed season and everything, and a lot can, like we said, a lot can happen here in the next coming weeks. We can see big spikes go up in COVID numbers, and that really threatens to shut all theaters down again for quite a while. Which in that case, I think, again, the Oscars would probably at that point just say, okay, screw it, this year's a wash. Whatever screened, whatever came out, we're going to lump in with the material next year and just cross our fingers that by this time next year, September, late August, we're done with COVID. All vaccines that could help us are out and about and ready to go, and we have enough people that are inoculated, and we don't have to worry about outbreaks anymore and all that, except for a couple crazy anti-vaxxers or something. So hopefully, I mean, I'd love it that, as I mentioned yesterday, I would love for that to be the case tomorrow, and we could get back to normal and end all this shit. But yeah, I don't know. And then, like we said, who knows? Maybe we do have all that ready to go by November, December. And, I know you can trust Donald Trump as far as you can throw him, right, for stuff like that. But I don't know. If he happened to be right, I mean, if it turns out well, then, yeah, maybe by, a few weeks into November, maybe by Thanksgiving, we could be ready to open up a few of the theaters in, like, L.A. and New York for the first time since everything shut down in March. And then from there, the rest of the country, everybody will kind of slowly but surely kind of triculate their way back into movie theaters. Anyways, but yeah, I don't know. It feels like a lot is up in the air right now, not just with the predictions, but just with everything. So, yeah, I don't know when the next update's going to be. It'll probably be in a few weeks' time. We'll see how the New York Film Festival rounds out here. I think they're going through like the 17th or something, or the 14th of October, which is more than 2 weeks away, closer to 3 weeks away from being done. So it might be around that time. I mean, I don't think it's necessary. I mean, like we said, we've seen possibly two. One confirmed for sure, like easily would have gotten in for Best Picture, or at least on the surface. West Side Story get pulled last week from the release calendar. And then possibly again two in the same week here if it was The French Dispatch as well. So, and then something like Dune, I think, is probably, if it is going to be another one pulled, I think that's the next one to go. And then Soul right now is, from what I heard, not going to be on Disney Plus, like quite a few of the other ones have, like Mulan and Onward. So that one I can see them shuttering. No Time to Die, which would probably be a player in some like visual effects category, sound for sure, original song I'm sure for Billie Eilish's song, maybe score and a few others. I don't know if it can quite get the picture, but that's another one. If unless I missed it, it's already been pulled. I don't see that one. That one I can see getting pushed way back again. I don't know. I mean, and obviously we said that's going to be true for a lot of the blockbusters, but the rest of the Oscar fare, again, I think some of the studios will probably just bite that financial bullet, put it out in as many theaters as they can, where they feel safe and comfortable and everything, and just hope people turn out. If not, then, I don't know, they might try to figure out a way to screen it for everybody in the meantime here. Okay, I think that's my spiel for the time being. So, yeah, I don't necessarily, like I was trying to say there, sorry, I don't necessarily see us me having to come on and update you every time we see another one of my predictions go astray because they push back. So, we might do a roundup of that maybe next time after New York Film Festival wraps up. But in the meantime, that's all I got. So, we're going to end it there, and we will catch you next time, whenever that is.